All
Have we
right.
started?
I
Have we
think
started?
so. I think so.
How do
Okay.
we know?
Um, because it says live in the top right corner.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
And we know the number of attendees somewhere or no?
No, I'm not sure. Leonard, can you tell us a link to where we can see how many people are online? Guys, if you're online, post your country where you're from into the chat, and we will find it just now. Okay. Awesome, cool. Leonid, what's a link to the SDS page for this webinar so I can have a look, and the chat there, please. Welcome everybody. So I'm being told that there's 200 people online right now. Very, very exciting. We're just getting the right link to find the chat and see you guys all over there. So we've got Adlan on the online. Adlan, how you going, man?
Hey guys, how are you doing? 200 people already, really?
Yeah, it looks like it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to talk about exciting things now.
Yeah, Adlan, I sent you the link here. You can see.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, there we go. Now I see the chat. There we go. So,
Yeah,
okay, USA, Mexico, Istanbul. Do you see them? Do you see all the countries? Norway, USA, Tunisia, Ukraine, India, Canada, South Africa, Death Star. Somebody's from the Death Star. Very funny. America, USA, Sweden, USA, San Jose, California, Belgium, Brazil, Atlanta, Costa Rica, France, USA. If you haven't posted yet, post it now. United States, Chile, Serbia, USA, India, USA, Vietnam. Hello, Vietnam. Atlanta, remember we were in Vietnam a year ago.
Yeah, one of the best trips in Vietnam. We did the most beautiful work.
Ooh, Vietnam. Brazil, Greece. Wow, interesting. USA, Atlanta, Georgia, Russia, but now in China. Hello to China. Brazil, India, Sweden, USA, Sweden, Chile, Melbourne, Australia. Hello to Australia. Colombia, Azeroth, Canada, India, Tunisia, India. Wow, so many people. Romania, Greece, Tunisia, India, Tunisia, Costa Rica. Oh my, so many people. I lost it. Lost it for a second. Okay, I'm going to continue from here.
Wow, we're connected with the world. That's amazing.
Yeah, Brazil, Algeria. My God, so many. Malaysia. Oh, wow. India. Have we had anyone from Africa yet? I wonder. China, San Diego, San Jose, Colombia, Mexico, Singapore, Brazil, Taiwan. Oh, wow. I can just keep reading forever. Seattle, Japan, Australia, Houston, Texas, Taiwan. Thank you, everybody. Bulgaria. Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is so cool. Yeah, very, very exciting to have everybody on board. So today we're talking about trends for 2019. And the way we're going to structure this is we're going to look at, we did a webinar like this last year with some predictions for 2018. So we're going to actually look at the predictions we made, and we're going to go through them and see which ones came true, which ones didn't. So you guys can like have a little, be excited for us that we made some correct predictions, or like be like, boo, you made a bad prediction, something like that. And then after that, we'll look at predictions for 2019. So we have something to work with next year. Yeah, excited, Adlan?
Yeah, super excited, and super excited to be all connected together with the world. That's really amazing.
That's so true. And before we start, I wanted to point out, so Leonid, who is our organizer for this event, actually mentioned a really cool thing that is important to point out at the start. It's that, like, what's the purpose of making all these predictions? Like, anybody can make predictions, and anybody, a lot of people make it just for fun, like, oh, what are the trends going to be? And it's like kind of like data science is very, and data and technology is very hype, and it's also really disruptive in the world right now. So people just want to know what's going to happen. But our purpose here, and you will see this reflected in the predictions that we've picked, our purpose here is actually to help you guys understand where to direct your careers in the next year, what to look out for. Because the thing is that, again, regardless of what part of what stage of career you're in, whether you're beginner, advanced, you own a business, whatever it is the case, there are certain things in technology and data science analytics, they will die out and certain things will pop up. And you want to be flexible and adaptive to make sure that you're studying the right things, you're looking into the right technologies, you're looking into the right trends, so that your career, you can make the most of your career. Because it would be really unfortunate to be just learning something that doesn't have a future, for example. On the other hand, it'd be really cool to learn something that is like about to explode and be on the right trend. All right, so let's do this. Some of the predictions that we made last year. The prediction number one we talked about was AI is the new electricity. So we said that more and more businesses will be adopting AI, that this trend is not going to stop, that in 2018 you will see more happening in the space of artificial intelligence than ever before. So let's see what happened in actually 2018 about artificial intelligence. So here are some interesting stats. To start off with, the majority of all organizations, 58%, foresee modifications of their business models due to artificial intelligence within 5 years. So 58% of organizations see that their actual business models will be modified with artificial intelligence. Overall, 91%. And by the way, all of the links, we're not going to go into like the sources and stuff. All of the links in the show notes you'll be able to get on SuperDataScience in the URL for this webinar, which we'll share. Leonid will give it to me towards the end. We'll share it towards the end. You can get all the links there. Overall, 91% of survey respondents expected new business value from AI implementations in the coming 5 years. So some kind of business, not just changing the business model, but some kind of business value is expected by 91% of respondents. Basically, even those who are quite passive about artificial intelligence, they expect to experience AI-based benefits indirectly. Within 81% of them expect to experience AI-based benefit. I know it's a mouthful, but basically 91% of businesses see artificial intelligence somehow impacting their business in the next 5 years, and majority of all organizations, 58%, actually see AI modifying their business model. What are your thoughts on that, Hadelin?
Yeah, so I think we were right about this prediction, and actually that's why we started building a business on that, helping companies transitioning into AI. So these figures, first of all, are highly positive. We can see really the trend increasing in AI. We can see that indeed the trust is more and more present in companies and businesses. People in companies and managers and even executives are more and more convinced that AI can disrupt their industry and bring a lot of added values. We can see that in even the non-AI based company starting to build AI teams and AI departments, or even AI bureaus inside the company to really disrupt and transition into AI so that they can not miss the opportunity. So yes, this is really convincing. This is really promising, and this will keep continuing. In the AI 2019 trend, will still confirm that AI will be an increasing one. So I'm really happy about these figures, because we are basically spending all our time working on artificial intelligence, and so we are really happy that we can help you transitioning as well into AI. And following on what you said at first, meaning that why is it important to talk about trends and why is it important to make predictions? Well, that's because for me the most fundamental reason is that whether you are building a business or whether you are planning your career and developing your career, the most important thing to have is a vision. A vision of the time to come, the vision of what strategy you must adopt. And that's why if you make the right predictions, if you can foresee what's going to happen, well, this will be well aligned with your vision, and you will definitely leverage that in order to make better moves for your future. So it's really, really important for me to make predictions, and if they're the right ones, well, even better.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. And also wanted to mention to our listeners, so some of you might know that Adlan and I have our own, we just actually started this year in 2018. Like, we follow our own predictions about trends. And in 2018, we started our own consulting company in the space of artificial intelligence. It's called bluelife.ai, which you can find at bluelife.ai. And we just started it, and like right away, like so much interest, like people started like asking us about projects. We've already, like within a year, we've already talked to clients, and we started working on some projects. But like specifically, we talked to clients about the energy market. We've talked about the mining industry. We've talked about a retail organization about like how like how artificial intelligence can be used in retail. There is extreme amount of interest from businesses in this space of artificial intelligence. So that like is something that we're actually experiencing for ourselves. So I think we can sum up this this first prediction that it was a correct prediction, and one so far, 1 out of 1. Okay.
And also I'd like to add something very important. Not only companies are adopting AI, but also governments, right? Politics, because people in politics are starting to invest in AI for their whole country, and that's a pretty good hint that AI is doing well. You know, that general people start to believe in AI and what it can do to make the world a better place.
Totally. Purpose, very important. Okay, yes. Next one, blockchain. A prediction we made that look out for blockchain. It's a very, very important trend. And as we said, we follow our own predictions, whether they're right or wrong. We believe in them. And that's why you saw us launch a Kickstarter campaign for blockchain, which raised north of $100,000 with thousands of backers. And then the course was released. It's a massive course. I think it's like 14 hours of content. You can like learn Ethereum and everything. We're really invested heavily into this topic in terms of our self-education. However, what we saw in 2018 was now towards the end of 2018, we can see that the interest in blockchain actually dropped compared to the start, compared to December 2017, when there was like the peak of the interest. Interest in blockchain dropped 65% over the past 12 months. And the main reason for this, probably from our thinking, is that the hype around Bitcoin had a negative dynamic, and it dropped actually 80%. So blockchain dropped about 65% in interest. Bitcoin dropped about 80% in interest since December last year. Massive drop. And yeah, what are your thoughts, Adlan, on that?
Indeed, the Bitcoin went from its all-time high of $20,000 down to $3,000 up to recently. So massive drop. Yeah, there is no words to describe that. A massive, significant drop. But yes, I am totally convinced that the hype in blockchain was on a significant downtrend due directly to the Bitcoin downtrend hype, because most of people associated blockchain with cryptocurrencies at first. So since the Bitcoin is the king of cryptocurrencies, well, as long as the Bitcoin is dropping down, well, the rest of cryptocurrencies are dropping down as well, and therefore the blockchain hype drops down too. So I think, yes, it's true to say that it's very linked to Bitcoin. However, I'm still believing in blockchain. Remember, we predicted that blockchain was going to be a hype, but we also said a lot of times, and even in our course, that blockchain was a huge Wild West. And I think it is still a Wild West, actually. And, you know, there is this famous curve that in a Wild West, you have first a big hype going up, then a big hype going down, and then it's going back up again once the Wild West is calming down, you know, once the storm has calmed down. So I think right now we're still in the Wild West. And if we don't think about cryptocurrencies when we think of blockchain, but all the amazing applications it can have for companies, then I think it's still going up. We still have a lot of startups in blockchain developing. We still have a lot of opportunities that we can do for companies, and which have nothing to do with cryptocurrency. But for example, the best example of blockchain is IoT, Internet of Things, which to me will become one of the top trends in 2019. And the best IoT systems are the ones handled by blockchains today, and also artificial intelligence, of course. So, of course, if we think about cryptocurrencies, yes, blockchain is in a bad downtrend. But if we think of the more general scope of blockchain, I think it's not there. It's not alarming. I think it's actually in a good way, in a good progress.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. And somebody in the chat, by the way, guys, let's make this interactive because like we are watching. Oh, I'm watching your chat right now, and if you post some questions, you post your thoughts. You know, like we're mentioning a trend. Post your thoughts about it. You agree, disagree? What do you think? And like I'll have a look through them and I'll read out the most interesting ones. And somebody said that, you know, indeed blockchain is not just Bitcoin, but a lot of people don't see that, don't understand that. So in my view, blockchain, there's this thing called the Gartner hype cycle, and blockchain is going through a Gartner hype cycle. It's kind of like it goes up, it's got a peak, then it goes down, and it kind of like plateaus, and then slowly starts growing. So blockchain and Bitcoin, well, mostly blockchain, we're talking about blockchain, it's gone through that hype part. It's dropped down. It's normal to see like such a drop. But then it'll slowly like come back out of there. And, you know, so blockchain is not going anywhere. Still a cool thing to invest your time into and learn. Very interesting topic. Not that hard to code, but very, very powerful. But at the same time, yes, indeed, this prediction for 2018 definitely failed. So I think we'll have to admit that that one was not the best prediction. All right, True. Let's keep going. So the next one we talked about was, so far we have 1 out of 2. The next one we had was security. We highly recommended people to look into security because that's like uses data, very, very data-driven topic, especially like IT security, information security, data security. So what happened in 2018? What did we see? Well, first things first, we saw the GDPR come on, right? The was it called Global or General Data Privacy Regulation in Europe? I think that's what it stands for. GDPR in Europe, massive impact. Lots of lots of companies had to adopt new ways, like our businesses. We had to assign data. What are they called? Data officers, like data regulation officers within the business. If you're dealing with European clients, you have to have a data officer, somebody who's going to be looking after, you know, like that the efficacy of the business in terms of data, how it treats data, that all the regulations are followed. Massive changes. A lot of companies, you know, like had to adapt their operations to these new policies. And that's all because like governments are becoming more conscious. By the way, GDPR was the first change in data regulations in Europe in the past 20 years. Massive, right? Like a big thing. And on top of that, what else did we see? We saw that hacks are continuing to happen. The city of Atlanta was locked down for like a ransomware. I think they demanded $50,000 or something like that, and they refused to pay. And then they started like the whole the databases of some of the government operations, public services of Atlanta were locked down, and they had to start pulling it all apart and they're investigating. They spent millions of dollars just like fixing the situation. Another one was the recent, just a couple of weeks ago, the Marriott hack. For 500 million accounts were hacked, including first name, last name, stays at the Marriott hotels, and passport details, credit card details, like for some of those that were affected. 500 million, $500 million affected. I think it's like accounts or transactions, but like a massive amount of data was stolen. So all in all, lots of things were going on in this space. And what we saw in general is a increase of, where was that number? Interest in cybersecurity rose by 61% in 2018. It's very interesting. If you type in cybersecurity into Google Trends, you'll see like an exponential curve building up, 61% compared to last year. So massive growth. Adlan, what are your thoughts on that? Why do you think cybersecurity is becoming such a popular topic?
Well, first, all the figures and examples you said are pretty alarming. It's totally obvious that there is a need for much stronger IT security systems. And but the good thing about that is that it's a great thing for the AI, because AI has a huge role to play in IT security. I know the master's programs in IT security because I have some friends who did it, and they actually place AI at the heart of the programs to handle them better. So it impacts artificial intelligence. It also impacts blockchain again, because there had been some breach in blockchain systems, and even I think some of the cryptocurrencies were hacked. So there's breaches everywhere in data, blockchains. And I think the savior of all this is artificial intelligence, because indeed in our courses, for example, we did a few case studies or examples of how we can leverage AI to build some security systems. Like we made a fraud detector, for example. Well, that's a classic example of how AI can help. But now with all the decentralized systems combined to artificial intelligence systems, which makes an IoT system, that will play a huge role in IT security. And indeed, the programs are increasing. The companies are increasing their need for IT security systems, and AI will play a better and better role in that. So definitely a prediction that was correct, and that is in the uptrend continuing for 2019.
Nice. So that's really cool. And I wanted to ask our audience, how about who has heard about, at least apart from this webinar, who has heard about at least one cyber attack in this year, in 2018? So just like, if you haven't, say no. If you have, say yes. Let's all have a look and see how many people are saying, well, thinking, have heard stuff, haven't heard stuff about artificial intelligence. Cybersecurity. I'm already jumping far ahead. All right, so let's have a look. We can see them slowly trickling in. Yeah. Multiple attacks. So it's obvious. Whoever's looking at the chat, you can see that.
Yeah.
90%. What do we say, Adlan?
Yeah, 90% of yes.
90% would say yes. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So there we go. That's what's happening in the world with in the whole space of cybersecurity. Very, very powerful topic. So far, I would say that was a successful prediction. That was number 3. So far we have 2 out of 3. Very good. Let's see if we can get better than that. Okay. Deep learning as a mainstream. Adlan, you're the expert on this. What are your thoughts? How has deep learning evolved in 2018? Do you think that was a correct prediction?
Well, about 2018, sure, there has been some development, but I have a huge announcement for 2019. But that has to do with 2018. We will all find the motivation in 2018 to this new era that is coming in 2019. So what I'm talking about is that the biggest question everyone has ever had about deep learning is, how do I find the right architecture of the neural network to do my application, whether it is to classify some images, whether it is to do some object recognition in some videos, or whether it is to do to apply deep learning for medicine. Well, there is so much degrees of freedom when building the architecture of a neural network, that it is the biggest challenge in deep learning, figuring out that architecture. And the biggest progress, the biggest state-of-the-art breakthrough that is appearing right now in deep learning is the answer to that question. What is the best architecture for my specific application? And this is a new field in artificial intelligence and deep learning as well, called deep neuroevolution. And it is the technique that allows to answer that question what is going to be the best number of layers in the neural network, what is going to be the best number of neurons or hidden neurons in the hidden layers of a neural network that will provide me with the highest accuracy for my specific application. So this is amazing for the field of deep learning and deep reinforcement learning and artificial intelligence, because for many years people have been asking the same question. Really, do I need to be an artist to figure out the best architecture? And no, right now, the ultimate technique is coming to answer that question. So that's pretty amazing. But sorry, yes, I talked about 2019.
Yeah, we'll talk more about 2019 coming up. And but in general, like we've seen, Google invest a lot of time. So if you go to Google publications database, you will see that they published about 565 research papers in 2018, and approximately just short of 400 of those publications are to do with the space of deep learning or some kind of machine learning. Like, and most of the machine learning research that they do is towards the deep learning, as from what I understand. Might be wrong there, but anyway, like you can have a look at the Google research papers, and a lot of them are tailored to deep learning, natural language processing, image recognition. We saw self-driving cars like take on more and more market, and slowly like getting used in more and more states in the US. Although, you know, with some restrictions for now, but all of that is also deep learning. All that is enabled by deep learning. Another really exciting thing is that a new TensorFlow is coming out. Any comments on that? That's definitely like a statement that deep learning is here and it's here to stay. Adlan, you have any comments about the new TensorFlow?
Yes, of course, TensorFlow 2.0 is coming. Everyone is really, really excited about that. And besides, TensorFlow has made a lot of progress this year in 2018. I have to admit that I had a preference first for PyTorch, because PyTorch was the first to introduce the dynamic graphs, which allowed some much faster computations of the gradients during the training than TensorFlow. But now TensorFlow has made some progress with that. TensorFlow is working with graphs now, and we have some amazing training efficiency. So actually, the last AI course that we made is with TensorFlow, because I was really convinced that it was great for what we built. And besides, we built the most powerful AI model that exists today. So yes, a great thing about TensorFlow 2.0 is coming. And actually, as soon as it is coming, we plan to make a course on that. So yes, but still, I would like to say that PyTorch on the side is absolutely amazing as well. So it's really now depending on which AI platform you prefer, you know, which one you're most comfortable with. But in terms of techniques, now they're both equally the same. And now Keras is really amazing as well, built on TensorFlow. Actually, I still recommend to start with Keras at first when you start with deep learning, and then if you want to get into the real complicated stuff and make some more manual models, well, TensorFlow is an amazing tool.
Awesome. Thank you. And I posted a question in the chat, and people are like, what do you guys think of deep learning 2018? Post your comments. You can see that people are saying deep learning is the future. Indeed. Yeah. That's where we're going. Okay, so that's good. So how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 3 out of 4. Number 5 was persistent growth of the Hadoop market. But we talked more about like big data, so that people should look into big data and how everything is going there. And reality, what we saw is big data wasn't as popular this year. It actually kind of like dropped off. Here are some stats. According to Wise Guy Reports, global Hadoop analytics market cap in 2016 was $5.2 billion. And then in my bad. So in 2016 was $7 billion. 2017 was $8 billion, $8.1 billion. And in 2018, it's estimated to be $7.7 billion. So as you can see, it kind of dropped off. Now, market growth, market is expected to return to growth in about 2020. Very interesting. I was like thinking about this. You have more and more data in the world, more and more companies need data. How come, if you look for Google Trends for Hadoop, for what's it called, Spark, even Spark 2.0, Apache Spark, and so on, like you kind of see like a peak and then kind of like trickles off a little bit. So interesting situation. What do you think, Adlan? Why do you think this interest in big data and big data tools is kind of like dropped off a little this year?
Yes, indeed, it was really surprising. I wasn't actually sure of the real reason behind the drop, but I think it's because systems are becoming more and more automated, and there are more and more cloud platform solutions which you can use to handle your data just like that without having anything to do. So let's not forget we have all the cloud solutions. We have AWS, we have Paperspace, we have Microsoft Azure, we have Google Cloud Platforms, and also the IBM Cloud Solution. So with all this, it's actually normal, I think, that there is a downward trend in the systems like Hadoop, which were the way we did things before when we implemented the big data system with our own hands. Right now, we rather use automated systems which allow very well to handle big data, and actually that's what we did in our company. So really, I think it has to do with the cloud platforms, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, gotcha. I think it's an interesting thought that maybe like to extend a bit what you were saying, maybe the way we were using big data previously was kind of like limited to the tools we had, and predominantly, when big data came around, deep learning wasn't as prevalent as it is now, and it was mostly like machine learning tools, and people were like, I think it was kind of like limited. And so basically this whole prediction that by 2020 this trend will pick up, maybe now we're going to develop the tools a bit more, and then we'll see, oh, okay, now we actually we see like a bigger purpose for big data, again, like a better purpose, more powerful purpose. Let's get back into that space. I think eventually big data is here, right? It's just like it's slowed down the trend, but it's still there. But I think it's going to be necessary for companies anyway, because we're not going to run away from this data anytime soon. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one was probably a failed prediction, a bit early, right? It will happen later on. So out of 5, we have 3 out of 5. Right? Let's see if this can improve. Another comment we made, another trend we identified was augmented reality. And so what happened in the space of augmented reality in 2018? So augmented reality, we're not at the end of the year yet. So this report was made a bit earlier, somewhere in the middle of 2018, but already based on the data that was available, it was predicted that in 2018, augmented reality, virtual reality products and services would reach $27 billion. That is a 92% increase year over year. Now, even if this is not 100% accurate, and it can be like some margin of error there, because we're not at the end of the year yet, and this prediction was made earlier. Still, like even if it's a 92%, even if it's like an 80% increase, that's a massive increase of the spending on artificial augmented reality and virtual reality products and services. Massive trend. We see lots of companies slowly getting into that space of finding ways that they can implement those technologies and augment their services or create new services and products with those tools. What are your thoughts on the AR, VR trends, Adlan?
Yeah, definitely increasing trends, uptrend in 2018. Not only in the fun business, it was a lot used in video games and games in general, but also in, as you said, the several industries. Medicine leveraged that. Real estate leveraged that. So there are many applications we can find of augmented reality. And yes, for me, there is absolutely no doubt that it is an increasing trend. It has been an increasing trend for 2018, and it is going to continue in 2019. that's for sure. And it's according to my estimation, going to reach a couple of hundreds of billions of dollars market in 2019.
Great. So that's six. That was six trends we talked about. 4 out of 6. I think that one was a successful trend, and those who listened to this prediction got into that space, I think, are getting some great benefits from that. Next trend we talked about, very interesting one, digital twins. So digital twins, what is that all about? Digital twins, just as a reminder, is when you have a real physical object like an airplane or I don't know, like a big piece of mining equipment, and then you have a twin, like a copy of that object in a simulated environment on a computer. So it's like a simulation, but the simulation is actually attached, it's actually linked to a real life object, like let's say a plane. And then instead of just like you take the data from the real object, you pass it on to the twin, and then you monitor the twin and you try to understand when will it require maintenance, how will it perform in certain circumstances, what are the drawbacks, benefits, how can you improve it, and so on. So instead of doing all those tests on the real object, which is sometimes impossible, if the plane is constantly flying, you do need to maintain it, but like if it's in the air, how are you going to maintain it? How are you going to run analysis? Well, you have the digital twin for that. And so our prediction was that digital twins are going to be an important trend in 2018. This is what we saw. 48% of organizations that are implementing Internet of Things are already using or plan to use digital twins in 2018. In addition, the number of participating organizations using digital twins will triple by 2022. That's Gartner, report by Gartner. The global market for digital twins is expected to grow 38% annually to reach $16 billion by 2023. That's a report by Deloitte. So, massive trend. What are your thoughts, Hadelin?
Yeah, massive trend, and also a massive trend in the science fiction world, because more and more people are starting to spread the idea that we might be digital twins ourselves in a simulated environment. So, of course, that's science fiction. Our imagination can imagine great ideas, but yes, digital twins are becoming an uptrend, and it's fascinating. It's fascinating how people can use them today to gain a lot of value in their business. So I think it will continue to grow. Digital twins, by the way, are applied in some amazing application industry, such as you mentioned the digital planes. Also in simulated environments where you can build some avatars of yourself and have your characters in a video game. So we can find, as for augmented reality and virtual reality, some applications of digital twins in both the fun world and the industry world, the business world. And yes, so this is all good hints to say that it is becoming indeed in an uptrend.
Yep. Do you think people should look into building careers in that space? Looks like it's going to explode in the next couple of years.
Yes, I think I think people should start considering it, not only because it will explode, and also because it is fascinating. I mean, I would love to work my career on that. It's a futuristic subject. It's highly focused on technologies. It will leverage several technologies that exist today. So yes, I would only recommend, but of course I would keep on the side a security option in case it takes time to develop. But yes, I think it's already starting to be in good position.
And speaking of exciting, Leonid told me that Formula One use digital twins. That they actually usually have 3 drivers, 2 are racing, and 1 is predominantly focusing on testing stuff out. And the way they test is they don't actually test with the real car. They test in the dynamic, what are called, aero tubes, where the air is pushed against the car, or in those digital twin environments. So it's pretty cool. Formula One racing uses that type of stuff.
Using applications of digital twins.
Yeah, guys, on the webinar, post into the chat. Would you work in the digital twin industry or not? And if not, why not? If yes, why yes? We'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. And maybe you'll inspire somebody who's looking to get into that space and give them some extra reasons. Okay, And meanwhile, we're going to move on to the next trend. So I think that was a successful prediction. So far, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 out of 7. One more, self-serve analytics. That this is like we're moving into a world where people and organizations are empowering employees to more and more have access to analytics themselves, and rather than waiting for a report from the data scientists or requesting some information, they can just go in and look at that and like educate themselves on the information they're looking for and make decisions based on that. So one thing that we found here is that it is in 2018, self-serve analytics remained one of the 3 most important trends in the business intelligence world, along with data discovery and with master data and data quality management. Sorry, data quality management and data discovery, and then it was self-serve analytics. So it was an important trend, and it remained an important trend. I think that's a report by bisurvey.com. So why? The question is, why is self-serve analytics such an important aspect of today's data-driven world? What do you think, Adlan?
Well, to me, this is pretty obvious, actually, because anything that has to do with self is exactly the new thing today. Artificial intelligence is nothing else than a self system because it is self-learning. And so in business intelligence, the new obvious added value will be the self-serve analytics, as it says. So basically what is it exactly? It's like a system that will optimize and automate the business intelligence process within an industry or within a company. And that's why, to me, this is really the natural next step in business intelligence, because it combines business intelligence with machine learning, even deep learning and AI. So yes, this is a natural uptrend, which will therefore, for me, continue in 2019.
Totally agree. And in my view, self-serve analytics is kind of like empowering people. Imagine like when we drive cars, my favorite example of cars, right? Like we don't need to know how a car works inside, right? I don't know what the difference between a crankshaft and a camshaft is. Really don't. And more frankly, I don't care. I just need to know which pedals to press where put the petrol in. Self-serve analytics is kind of like that, in the sense that there are these super powerful tools like deep learning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of these like super useful things that we can use. But some people never want to learn programming, never want to learn how to even visualize stuff in Tableau and things like that. But they want to be able to leverage the benefits of those tools. So that's where self-serve analytics comes in. It's like, instead of chopping things up with a knife, here's a blender, go and blend it together. Like that's all you need to know. You don't need to know how it works inside. So of course people are going to jump on top of that, as long as you educate them. Like you give the right resources for them to learn how to use them. Okay, so that was a trend, and it remained a trend. So in total, to sum up our predictions for 2018, there were 8 trends that we talked about. AI being the new electricity, to quote Andrew Ng, blockchain security, cybersecurity, deep learning, Hadoop, augmented reality, digital twins, self-serve analytics, and so far we got 6 out of 8. I think it's not a bad score, 6 out of 8, right? 75% accuracy rate.
Yeah, it's not Ray Kurzweil's prediction accuracy rate, but it's still pretty good, I think. Yes, 6 out of 8.
Very good. Okay, moving on to the exciting stuff. It's been 45 minutes, and we're now finally moving on to 2019. Exciting.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Yes, exciting things are coming in 2019. I'm so excited about this new year. I'm really excited.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like every time it gets better, right?
Yeah, and it seems that there are going to be some answers in 2019.
Answers to what?
Well, for example, deep learning. What is going to be the next breakthrough in deep learning? Well, we know what it is, and this is what I reveal in our new course. Yes, this is really a breakthrough in deep learning.
Yeah.
What else is going to be? Well, IoT, of course,
Mm.
Internet of Things is
Yeah.
going to be the big thing. And why is that? It's because it reflects the new power that we can find in technologies, which are hybrid systems. You know, technologies we're developing alone so far, and now we're starting to combine them. We're
Yeah.
starting to combine all of them. Like we can combine an AI to a blockchain today to create an IoT system. We can combine technologies in medicine to artificial intelligence to create a hybrid system that will cure some diseases. We build more and more hybrid system, but that are becoming optimized by this deep neural evolution branch of deep learning that I've mentioned, and which improve in a significantly way the models. So that's something I'm really excited about, and I look forward to implementing these models for diverse applications and industries. And I think this is what people should start to focus on right now when they are studying AI.
Yeah, and also like look at case studies, right? Not just learn them, but actually, as you said, see how you can apply them in different industries. That's a powerful part. Okay, so not to keep everybody waiting, we're gonna dive straight into it, and we're actually gonna start with our biggest and most exciting announcement. We were thinking of leaving the best for last, but we know like some of you might have to run and timing and stuff like that. So we're gonna make the biggest prediction first. Yeah.
Yeah. And besides, someone just asked the question on the
question,
chat.
really? What did they ask?
If you notice, look at one of the previous questions. I think this is what you're about to reveal. I'm not sure, so I don't want to say.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure either.
Okay.
All right.
Afterwards, if it was what I was thinking about.
All right. Is that the question, Adlan, a new course from you guys? That question?
That's the one.
Okay. All right. So we have a massive trend which is coming, and Adlan has been on top of it for the past couple months. You presented for the first time at Data Science Go, right, about this trend?
That's right.
Everybody was like, "Wow!" Nobody knew. Nobody knew what's gonna hit them, and that was like what, October? So November. So 2 months ago, you presented. How long have you been monitoring this trend before we name it?
Well, the new trend is a really recent one. It's a brand new thing. So I would say that I discovered about this not more than 1 month before DSGO.
So about 3 months. It's been around for 3 months, and you've been on top of it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's very cool, and it's funny. It's very interesting how you announced it at Data Science Go, something that is a trend, and like now we're slowly seeing it to actually start take shape in the world. Like you kind of feel it happening. All right. Like without making everybody wait any longer, would you mind announcing what the big trend for 2019 is?
Okay, the big trend for 2019 is going to be the hybrid intelligent systems optimized by deep neural evolution.
That's a mouthful. What is that? Give us a quick overview. What a hybrid intelligence system optimized by neural evolution?
Okay, so basically, so far we have been building AI models separately, like single AI models, and we've tried to improve them. We've tried to improve them by adding some new features and adding some new techniques, and improving the optimizers that will update the parameters of the models to figure out the best ones, or adding some feature to the AI that can do something more than see, do some mathematics and remember and have a critic sense, like was the case. But the thing is that we've been trying to improve the single AIs by themselves. We've been improving slightly the performance, but the big breakthrough that appeared recently was not by adding a feature to an existing AI, but by building a team of the most powerful AI models. And therefore, the new breakthrough in artificial intelligence that we have today is a hybrid intelligence system, meaning a team combining the most powerful AI models. And this is exactly what this brand new model in the AI ecosystem is and was invented recently, which is called the full world model. And it is exactly a hybrid artificial intelligence that combines several deep learning models, and mostly it combines several branches of artificial intelligence. It combines deep learning, it combines also deep reinforcement learning, because you have some AI model based on deep learning, and also, of course, it combines the most powerful branch of artificial intelligence, which is policy gradient. Because one of the components of the full world model will be optimized by evolution strategies, which is the state-of-the-art model in the policy gradient branch of artificial intelligence, and it will basically figure out the best parameters for your model. And so this is exactly what I mean by optimized by deep neuroevolution, because deep neuroevolution is the the cherry on the cake that will tell you which parameters are the ideal ones for your model. And about that, well, this was so exciting to figure out this breakthrough that we couldn't help but for the past few weeks to work on that and build a course for this. So here we go. That's the big announcement. We are releasing a course on this hybrid intelligence systems optimized by deep neuroevolution. It was so exciting to work on that because not only we built a hybrid team of intelligent systems, but also we built an artificial intelligence that has the ability to dream. Like, when the best solutions are found in our sleep. Well, we added this new feature in the artificial intelligence, a feature that allows the artificial intelligence to sleep and dream so that it can recreate its observations of the environment like in a dream, like what humans do when we sleep. So that was so fascinating to implement, and that's also a big new feature in this new trend in the hybrid model. So yes, it was amazing to work on that, and it is going to keep continuing. It is going to the trend of hybrid intelligent systems optimized by this new evolution strategy branch of artificial intelligence will be the next new trends and breakthrough in this community, in this ecosystem.
Man, that is so exciting. Would you say that having multiple AI models working together is kind of like random forest, where you take the average, or is it something more complex for the benefit instead of my benefit? How is it best to understand? How do they work? How do they manage to work together?
No. It's much more complex than a random forest, because in a random forest, it's just basically a bunch of trees doing the same thing, predicting the same outcome and working on the same basis. But here in this new system of a hybrid intelligence system, well, you really have several components that are doing completely different things. For example, in this new model, the full world model, you will have one deep learning model that will take care of visualizing the input images, the input frames. You will have one other model that will dream about the environment and recreate the environment inside a dream to learn inside it in a much better way. And this model is a variational autoencoder. Then you will have another model, which is MTN RNN, recurrent neural network, which will remember basically better its training so that it can play better actions to maximize the reward and increase the performance. Then you will have a controller, doing something totally different, a separate controller that will optimize the actions to play. And you will have some, again, totally different things, doing totally different things. You will have the optimizers based on evolution strategies that will figure out the best parameters separately of your different models inside the full world model. So really, it has nothing to do with random forest. It's like a very complex system of several AIs working together, but each having their own particular role. And that's the first time I've ever seen that in artificial intelligence. So the full world model is the really first world model, that AI model that is based on such an idea. And besides, it has the fascinating ability to have a model inside that can dream and also can gain some performance inside the dream. So pretty a big breakthrough in artificial intelligence, I must say.
Yeah, man, that is crazy. We're already getting some questions from the chat. When is this going to go live? When are people going to be able to get their hands on this new course and learn all about the hybrid AI model?
Well, the answer to that question is in 4 hours. 4 hours.
That was unexpected.
In 4 hours, people will be able to get exactly what we've been talking about. And actually, I can see a great question in the chat is more like a nervous system. Yes, exactly. This is a great question because with this model that is not only hybrid and able to dream, well, we are getting closer to how humans we think and we make predictions. Because indeed, this deep neuroevolution new trend of AI is the one that can really optimize the neural systems, the neural networks in the AI. So it's a really good question. We are getting closer to human intelligence, basically, thanks to deep neuroevolution. Yes, that is fast. That is really in 4 hours. Yes, it's going to be in 4 hours. But we've been working on this for like 2 months, basically since it appeared in the research paper. And I have to say, I have never been that excited to work on an AI like that. For the hybrid nature and because it can dream. And that made me realize that indeed it reflects very well the human intelligence, because I myself, in my experience, was able to find the solutions to the toughest problems right after waking up. Therefore, something happened during my sleep. And I think this is how the inventor of this model figured out this amazing and fascinating idea of putting an AI that can dream to gain some performance. And indeed, when we see the results, well, this is obvious that it really works. It really, really works. And actually, in this new course, there is something very exciting that we will do. We'll do a competition between human intelligence and artificial intelligence, meaning that we will race a car. And we will play the game. We will actually be with our keyboard and driving that car, and we will race it against the artificial intelligence. So this will be the first time in the course that we do an AI versus HI competition, and this is something pretty exciting in this course.
Nice, very cool, man. And speaking of sleeping, you haven't been sleeping much, have you, recently?
No, I was so excited about this course that I haven't been sleeping at all the past few days. But no worries, the energy is still here. I think that sleeping is mostly about getting back the energy. And, the fascination and the excitement is so high for this course. The passion is so high that, it's impossible for me to sleep more than 3 hours per day. So, yes, indeed, I haven't been sleeping much, but I'm sure that once the course is released and the demo is live, well, I'll have the most amazing sleep of my life.
That's awesome. Okay, well, there you go, guys. Make sure to check your inboxes or any other announcement we send out on social media in 4 hours from now to get your early access to the course. Oh, Adlan told me there's some incredible bonuses attached to the to the early access.
Yes, the thing is that working on this AI took so much time and I was waiting for the next info actually by the people in the community who were the top people working on this. And so at the same time, during the 2 months, I worked on the bonuses when I was waiting for something. And therefore, the bonuses were prepared so much in advance, because usually we make the bonuses before the launch or after making the course. Well, this time was different. We've made the bonuses for 2 months or even 3 during the same time we were making the course. And therefore, the bonuses at some point became like a whole separate course. They became so huge that they're like a whole separate course. So indeed, with this new course, what is very, very special is the bonuses as well, because they're so huge. The content is so huge. We've made so much content on this that they're like a whole separate course. So basically, let's put it this way. With the course, you'll get, of course, the full world models, but with the course plus the bonuses, you'll get the TRPO, which is the state-of-the-art model in the policy gradient branch, trust region policy optimization, which provides as well amazing results, and also one amazing model that appeared very recently. The recent
from Russia.
Yeah,
Model from Russia.
appeared in the late October, beginning of November. This is a model called Cat Boost. And why is that amazing? It's because it is the most powerful model, providing the highest accuracy when your data set has categorical features. And that's what the Cat in Cat Boost comes from, categorical features. And today, all the data sets have categorical features. In fact, in our courses, everyone asks us about categorical features, how to better handle them. Well, the thing about Cat Boost is that not only it is the state-of-the-art machine learning model that provides the highest accuracy, but also it is the one that handles the best the categorical features. So it is a must-have in the toolkit, the Cat Boost model, because it is not only powerful, but also super practical for the data sets we're working with today. No, not Cat Booster, Cat Boost. Yeah, Cat Boost. Antonio, you got the right one. Cat Boost, and it is, of course, based on the gradient boosting models, which are like the most efficient one in machine learning.
Awesome. Okay, there you go, guys. Once again, you heard Hadelin course coming out in 4 hours. Make sure to jump on top of it and join us inside the class. All right, let's move on to the next trend. So we spent quite a bit of time on hybrid AI models, big trend for next year, biggest one. But what other trends do we have coming up in 2019? So an important one that I would like to point out is data literacy. What is that all about? Well, organizations are, we're moving into a data-driven / model-driven world. Like model-driven is even beyond data-driven. Is when you have a model running a business like Amazon or Google, where something like a recommender system or something like that. But in any case, whether it's data-driven, model-driven, we're moving into a data-powered world where businesses need to make use of this asset that they have, this very powerful asset they have, data, which is usually underutilized. And every business has it. It's just a matter of how they're capturing, storing, and processing that data. The businesses that do use their data, all other things being equal, will outperform their competitors, will have lower costs, higher efficiency. So businesses want to get onto that train. And one of the ways to do that is not to just only have a data science department, which is important, but actually to have data scientists across all the board of the organization, in the sense that people who work in the organization, the employees, the staff of the organization, are actually educated in the space of data and can derive some basic insights, or can use insights that others have derived and get benefits from data. And that's where the concept of citizen data scientists comes about. And so here's an interesting statistic. More than 40% of data science tasks will be automated by 2020, resulting in increased productivity and broader usage of data and analytics by citizen data scientists, according to Gartner. So if tasks are going to be automated, more than 40%, you want people to be able to use those results for those tasks. Gartner also predicts that citizen data scientists will surpass data scientists in the amount of advanced analysis produced by 2019. That is pretty intense. What do you think, Hadelin?
Yes, that's really, really, really intense. I heard about this data literacy and also data legacy. You have to build a data legacy when being a data scientist, which comes again to the importance of having a vision, having a strategy, having a good prediction, some good predictions. So yes, data literacy should be one of the next buzzwords in the data science ecosystem. And indeed, these statistics are amazing. That more than 40% of data science tasks will be automated by 2020. That will definitely increase productivity, and that will definitely enlarge the opportunities in data systems. And again, remember that we were wrong about Hadoop and all these big data systems, but this data literacy and statistics we'll definitely bring that up back in 2019 or the years to come. So yes, that's my view of data literacy. It's really good that we can talk about this.
Awesome, definitely. And that's something for data scientists and people listening to this podcast to think about. How can you help your organization take advantage of this trend, like actually get on top of it? How can you maybe run a course within your organization to help people improve their data literacy? Like I did that personally a couple of times in organizations where I helped people understand insights or how to use the tools, the self-serve analytics and so on. So it's not just like a trend that we're throwing out there. All of these trends are for you to take advantage of, whether it's to learn a new tool for yourself or to somehow enhance your career or help others or help your organization in general get on top of this trend. Okay, next big one is cloud. Our favorite cloud. Adlan, did you know? Did we talk about this? The cloud is actually underwater. How crazy is that? That the cables that go between continents, that the internet cables, they're all underwater, under the ocean. So when you think about it, the cloud is not like celestial; it's like underwater.
You scared me. I thought you meant the metaphor underwater. Like it's
yeah. No. Physically, it's physically
like
underwater.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that it's underwater. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's a really cool map online of the internet cables. Anyway, let's do a quick stat here. So, worldwide public cloud services market is projected to grow 17.3% in 2019, from $175.8 billion this year, $175.8 billion this year, to over 200, in fact, $206.2 billion next year. That's a massive amount and a massive growth. What are your thoughts, Adlan? Why would you say that cloud is growing so fast and is becoming such an important trend in this technological world?
Well, it's really directly because of the need. Companies have a higher and higher need for these cloud systems. And at the same time, Amazon is doing so great on their offer. So, it's the system of offer and demand, offer and need. This comes very well together. This is the offer need demand cross is right in the spot right now. So I think it is basically on a good momentum. There is more and more need for these cloud systems, and actually we are the first in need of it. We're using cloud systems ourselves today in our company to handle big data and to automate machine learning pipelines and AI pipelines. So really, the answer is obvious. It is because it is so practical in companies. Companies want to optimize their process. They want to gain efficiency, and this is what these cloud systems allow them to do. So for me, this really comes well with the major concerns and major goals that executives and the companies have today in their business process.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but why would you say that companies, like before? I remember when I was working in the industry back in 2000, when was this? 2014. Like there was a lot of fear, a lot of kind of pushback and apprehension from companies to move to the cloud. They were like, security is a risk, and we don't want our data to be sitting or even processed in the cloud. What if somebody hacks it and so on? And in fact, I've witnessed companies, like cloud was already there, but I saw companies spend $20 million, like a specific company, without naming the names, spent $20 million on installing servers locally, on upgrading their servers. They already had servers. They outgrew their servers. Instead of moving to the cloud, they upgraded their servers they started, talking to vendors about upgrading the servers for $20 million. Whereas moving to the cloud would have been much cheaper and easier scalable. The benefit of this cloud is that it's so scalable. So what are your thoughts on that? More time has passed. And even though we have more cybersecurity attacks and threats and so on, more organizations are open-minded about the cloud and are happy to go and explore this option and actually go with it. Why? What do you think changed in the world in the past couple of years?
Yeah. I think I know what happened. Actually, I have a worse example than the one you said. Uh, Back in a few years ago, I knew a company that actually spent $100 million in
Wow.
yes, $100 million in that kind of system where today they could use the cloud for a lot cheaper. And speaking of cheaper, yes, the cloud systems are becoming cheaper and cheaper. But what I wanted to say is that I think the reason for this suddenly working so well and developing so well for companies is that there were a few failures at the beginning, that's for sure. Like these companies investing a lot of money on their own system instead of using the cloud. And then at some point, I think that what happened is that some companies adopted the cloud, and this turned to be a success. And then came the domino effect. The neighbor company started to observe that the competitor started to gain some value thanks to the cloud. So with the domino effect, they started using the cloud as well. And then here we go, more and more companies use the cloud, and with a snowball effect and a successful a success propagation. Well, I think it is how we came today in a situation where nearly most of the companies are using the cloud.
Gotcha. So it's more kind of like a competitive pressure. There's no choice. It's just so inefficient to have on premises that like you just that's the new norm, right? People are
Yes.
just finally like that's an example of when something in that Gartner hype cycle we talked about a bit earlier, when something has passed the hype, has dropped off, and now is slowly getting to that is become the new norm. It's come to that plateau of stability where people have accepted it as not a hype anymore. Cloud, before cloud was a hype. Now cloud is not hype. Cloud is the new norm. Like we do stuff in the cloud, right? Like sometimes do like things for courses for our businesses. We do things in the cloud. It's just because that's the way things work, right?
Yes.
Rohit posted a great question in the chat. Let me find it. Which cloud service is the leader in artificial intelligence? What are your thoughts on that, Adlan? Like we've used cloud quite a bit for our consulting services.
To me, there's absolutely no doubt that the cloud service leader in AI is AWS. No doubt. I've used all of them. I have some actually good experience with all of them. And the one I'm the most satisfied with, not only in terms of speed and also cost, but also of what results it can bring, is AWS. So I have nothing with AWS. I'm not making some advertising for them, but it's true that I have used all the cloud systems, tried all of them, not only for the courses, but also for our business. And the one I am the most comfortable with and the most satisfied with is AWS.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's really cool. I read a really interesting statistic. I'm reading a book now, and there they said that for the Amazon business, I think it was in 2017. I should find those stats. The web services accounted for 120 or so, but more than 120% of their revenue or profit. Profit, I think, yeah, 120% of their profit. And so basically, don't quote me on the exact numbers, but basically what that means is that that the retail side of Amazon was still losing money, right? They're growing, they're scaling really fast, but they're in essence, they're losing money, but they're making up for it with their web services. And so hence they have to be good, right? They have to be some of the leading web services.
No, they're doing a great job. Really, it's becoming better and better.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so that's 3 trends so far. So far, we've talked about hybrid AI models. Don't forget, it's maybe like just under 4 hours left for your big announcement, for a big notification about that to come. Data literacy and data moving to the cloud. All right, next big trend, one of your favorite ones, Adlan, we're going to talk about Internet of Things. So before we dive into it, let's have a look at some of the stats. So the spending guide forecasts Internet of Things spending. Well, Internet of Things spending is forecasted to experience a compound annual growth rate of 13.6% over the 2018 to 2022 period, and reach $1.2 trillion, not billion, 1.2 trillion with a trillion dollars by 2022. Global spending this year is expected to be amount to $772 billion. When Internet of Things hardware will be largest technology category with valuation. So the Internet of Things hardware will be the largest technology category with a valuation of $239 billion, followed by services, software, and connectivity. Bain predicts B2B Internet of Things segments will generate more than $300 billion annually by 2020, including, so this is just business-to-business Internet of Things, including about 85 billion in the industrial sector. What's this? Harley-Davidson reduced its build-to-order cycle by a factor of 36 and grew overall profitability by 3% to 4% by shifting production to a fully IoT-enabled plant, according to Capgemini. So there's just an example, a case study that Harley-Davidson increased their build-to-order cycle by a factor of 36 with the use of Internet of Things. Globally, business-to-client B2C commerce is projected to invest $25 billion into Internet of Things systems, software, and platforms within 2 years. Healthcare and processes industries are projected to invest $15 billion each into Internet of Things. So there's some stats. We can keep going. There's plenty more about what's happening in this space, just to give you a feel that things are heating up in the space of Internet of Things. And now I'll pass over to you, Hadelin, one of your favorite topics, just to get everybody up to speed. What is Internet of Things? Let's start there.
Well, the first thing I have to say is, based on what we've just talked about in this webinar, is that an Internet of Things system is nothing else than, again, a hybrid intelligence system. Here we go. It is another hybrid intelligence system. So it is really obvious that now everything is connected together. Like the dots are connecting. In AI, the new big trend is the hybrid intelligence systems. The next big trend in 2019 in terms of technologies will be the hybrid intelligence system in the IoT. So what is an IoT? What is the hybrid nature coming from an IoT? Well, an IoT system is a system that will combine several technologies, starting with, of course, all the connected devices, like the smart home, for example, is an IoT system. The smart cars, the smartphones as well. Basically, when you drive and you have your data connected to your insurance to calculate at the end of the month the probability of the cost. Well, all that is again an IoT system. So it is a system that combines hardware devices, connected device, with technologies in form of softwares like artificial intelligence. And the next big IoT system that we're going to see, and that's why we must not forget about blockchain, is the combination of connected devices, hardware, then artificial intelligence, and then, of course, blockchain. These are going to be the best IoT systems combining today the best three technologies that we have today. And so we cannot imagine. We can imagine the crazy number of applications we can find in IoT systems. It can be in the energy market. It can be in the health industry. It can be in the transport industry. I gave an example basically of an IoT system in the transport industry when it is connected to the insurance or when it is connected to other IoT systems all around you so that it can prevent more and more accidents from happening. So there are crazy applications. That's why I'm not surprised about the figures here, that it's going to reach the $1 trillion market by 2022. So because the applications are endless. There are endless applications of IoT. And besides, it combines the most powerful technologies that we have today. It is in the right alignment with this new trend of the hybrid intelligence systems. So to me, this is really the next thing to bet on, to invest on. And actually, if today I was, for example, a student in my last year of my studies, I would really start working hard on that, because when I finished, for example, my engineering studies, well, the next big thing was about to be artificial intelligence. So I highly invested my work and energy on this, and that's how it all started for me. But today, our AI, of course, is still developing crazy. But there's the new hybrid intelligent field coming, and of course IoT is going to be at the heart of this, and AI is going to be the fuel of IoT. So it's really fascinating how all the dots are now connecting, not only intrinsically in the AI ecosystem, but also extrinsically when we look at the several technologies, technologies today that are combined together. So yeah, IoT, go for it, definitely.
Man, that's some. I loved your description and advice. Actually, sitting it, I was thinking, oh, that'd be really cool. Like if I was at the start of my career, or like thinking of how to direct my career in data science, really powerful. What would you say is the, like, how can people actually study Internet of Things? Like studying AI, I understand, go and learn PyTorch or CatBoost or something like that. But like, what is Internet of Things? Like we know what it is, but like, what is it in terms of what skills do I need to pick up? What courses do I need to take? What can I learn about Internet of Things apart from the actual just a broad general overview of the topic and like what's happening in the space? How can I actually get some hands-on knowledge in IoT? What do you think?
So you remember how getting into data science is a very challenging task, because it's not only about knowing statistics, it's also about knowing computer science, statistics, good mathematics, algebra, probabilities. There are a lot of things around data science that you have to get the skills on. Well, the bad news about IoT is that it's even worse than this, because in order to tackle IoT, you will need some solid skills in not only math, data science, and artificial intelligence, and blockchains as well, but also in all the hardware stuff, the hardware side of things. Because indeed here, IoT is about building some hardware systems as well. It's not only about software. The good thing about software is that you can just code the things, but in hardware you'll have to build some actual products, and you will need to know not only all this, but you will need to know about embedded systems. You will need to know about also robotics and robotic programming, like ROS. ROS, robotic operating software, which can combine, for example, Raspberry Pi to your software in order to create an intelligent combination of software and hardware. So it's really worse than data science in terms of what skills you need to get. But the good news is that it's not tomorrow that we will have a program about IoT system and how to become an IoT expert. So what I would recommend now is just to really identify the different components of an IoT system, which I can already say today are artificial intelligence, blockchain, robotics, and connected devices. And therefore, we can start by studying them separately. And at some point, using our engineering, we can combine them and start to learn how to create good IoT systems. So really, the answer to your question is first understanding well the components separately, and then learn how to embed them into a hybrid, as we said, intelligent system.
Amazing, man. That's some great advice, and I want to add to that while it's hard, and it's good that we've been very transparent here, that indeed it is difficult to get some education in the space of IoT right now, because it's such a new field, and you cannot like just jump into it and go and take a course or something like that. None of that exists yet. So what I would do, like at the same time, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, like, if this market is going to grow to $1.2 trillion in the next couple of years, like there's massive opportunities there. And how cool would it be? Like, just to imagine, like, let's forget about how to get there, but let's think about the result. Let's think in terms of results. How cool would it be to say that I am, or have on my CV or on my LinkedIn, or just to be able to state that I'm an expert, I'm an IoT expert, I'm an expert on the Internet of Things, like instantly. And if you can actually prove that, instantly you'll have like millions of job opportunities, you'll have companies ripping you away with your hands and legs. And so the question, so now you have the result in mind. The question is, how do you get to that result? What's the pathway? It's not clear, but that's good in the sense that not many people will be able to take it until it clears up. So the people who do get through this thorny, difficult journey now will reap all the benefits. And so how would I go about it? Well, I would take exactly what Adlan said and identify the different components of Internet of Things, which artificial intelligence, blockchain, connected devices. What else did you say?
Connected devices, robotics, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and embedded systems, of course.
Embedded systems. I would also add sensors to that because that's a good one. And I would start like what Adlan said. You can take it to the extreme and start actually building stuff, and using microchips and components to actually build something out. There's a lot of like tutorials on YouTube. For instance, I saw one how to make a once you like if you have what are called blinds on your window, like make those blinds open when you leave the room and make them close when you enter the room. So basically, there's a sensor connected to your door, or actually no, there's a camera on that is set up that has computer vision embedded, like with a Raspberry Pi device that is processing computer vision, and that as soon as it sees movement, it closes the shutters on the blinds. And so that's a very basic example. So I'll do a couple of those projects. That's an extreme case. You could do it simpler. You could buy some sensors and just connect them to your phone via Bluetooth, or hook them up to your laptop. You do some deep learning on that and process that, like images and stuff like that, or put them on your car and process how many cats and dogs you're seeing, and then what something's happening on your computer based on that. So do a couple of those on your own. Then go to like a local supermarket or a local store and tell them, hey guys, I can help you with Internet of Things. I can embed sensors on your shelves to help you better identify customers that are interested in certain products, or you can market to them better. I would do a couple of those projects, and like within a year, I would do like 3 or 4 of those projects, and I would get such a good grasp on IoT that I would actually put that on my resume. I would say I'm an expert in IoT. And then I would go to the local government and say, hey guys, this is what I can do for you. What projects do you have? And the governments have plenty. Like I actually heard of I think it was in Belgium. There's a city where they're building a system that smart cars that have like AI on board are going to talk to the buildings. They're going to communicate with the buildings they're driving by, so that the buildings are going to tell them if there's another car around the corner. So basically, when you get to a traffic light, your car already knows if there's another car coming, or if there's if the road is clear, and so they want to reduce the collisions like that. I know San Diego is building a smart city that involves a lot of Internet of Things. Like that is happening all over the place, and that's one of the easy markets, like the low-hanging fruit. If you're an expert in IoT, go to your local city, go to your government, they will have a project. That's what I would do. Yeah. Okay. So that's IoT. We spent quite a bit of time on this. I think important topic to cover off. Let's move on to the next one. So this one will be interesting to get your thoughts on, Adlan, because it is actually related to artificial intelligence, and it is the rise of explainable AI. Something new, something like an interesting thing that hasn't been around for long. People are getting more and more concerned with artificial intelligence, and that it adds value, but it's a black box that you don't know what's going on. You can't, like with a machine learning algorithm, often you can actually look at the coefficients, you can just see what's happening, like interpret it. Artificial intelligence is very hard, if not impossible to interpret at times. And so people are getting concerned with that. And so what we're kind of feeling is happening is this rise of explainable artificial intelligence, where AI is built in a certain way that its findings and insights are designed that they can be explained, and we can see what's actually going on. What do you think, Adlan? Why do we think this is going to be an important trend in the next year?
Well, it all has to do with control. In fact, if you remember in DSGO, I talked about the three levels of control. The first level of control is that indeed today, we are a bit manipulated on the internet by, the data and some algorithms that can influence our decisions. So that was actually settled in the events that we had in 2018, and this is actually on a good way. It's actually making progress. But then the second level of control has something to do with the black boxes, because if AI continues to be black boxes, well, very well, it can end up into the right hands, but it could also end up into the wrong hands. And in the wrong hands, if the black box stays black box, well, it will be very difficult to prevent the danger from spreading around the world. So I think that black box should not be continuing. I think that AI education should be spread as much as possible. The knowledge and understanding in AI should be spread as much as possible worldwide, so that we can prevent too much black box from happening in the future. And therefore, that's why some governments are already making a plan to introduce some artificial intelligence courses in schools already at a young level, and that I think that's in that spirit of in that it is in that perspective of preventing too much black box from happening. Um, and also, not only about control. It's true that most of the time people don't like black boxes. They like to understand what's inside the model. They like to understand where the results come from and how with some input we can get to the output. So I think that not only in terms of business, whenever you introduce a model to, for example, your boss or a manager or an executive, well, you should definitely not come with a black box, but with a clear explanation of how the process works. And again, for that, the best way is to spread the knowledge about AI and talk about it around you, so that it becomes like a mainstream to understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you said it there, man. That's pretty much why. So I think this one is kind of like a risky bet for us in terms of making this prediction. It can go either way, but like we're gonna stick to it, and let's see how it works out in 2019 in terms of explainable AI. Would be exciting to be part of that, to see how things go. All right, so that was explainable AI. The next trend that we are seeing is an interesting one that I really like, is robotics process automation, RPA. So we had some guests on the podcast, episode 173, for those who are wondering, experts in robotics process automation. This is an industry that is rapidly changing the way we do white collar work. A lot of things that we do are manual and can be automated. So for instance, you could create an RPA, robotics process automation script, that automates how you receive an email, process it, save a file, then send that file to somebody else later on. Data entry, data manipulation, data checking, data processing, lots of things RPA can, it's like a very low level of data, like working with data. That a lot of that stuff can be automated. So here are some stats. The global robotic process automation RPA market size is expected to reach $3.1 billion by 2025, according to a study done by Grand View Research. The global market is estimated to expand at a compound annual growth rate of 31.1% during this period from now to 2025. Different organizations in different sectors are increasingly challenged by the growing market competition due to shift in technology and changing consumer preferences. So that's that. As you can see, it's not massive yet. It's not in the trillions of dollars like we saw with Internet of Things or cloud computing, but it's a really new space. It's a really new space, and it's starting to disrupt businesses. It's really helping businesses save a lot of efficiency, save a lot of cost, and get a lot of efficiency. I personally think that RPA is, like, if you look for robotics process automation on Glassdoor, it's like got thousands of job offers right now. It's very new, so it's very easy to get into it and become like a subject matter expert, an expert in the space of RPA. What are your thoughts on robotics process automation, Adlan? Like, it's not a massive market, not yet. It's still in the billions of dollars. But would you say that it is valuable for people to consider it?
Absolutely. And again, the dots are connecting because RPA is actually one component of IoT, because RPA will allow you to build some good, not hybrid, but good device and systems, good hardware. Because RPA is all about automating processes in big systems. So where when you have the IoT system, which is a large process of things happening, well, RPA will definitely bring its added value. So, okay, it's not going to reach a double-digit billion dollar market, but it is an essential component of some more valued markets like IoT, which therefore will leverage it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So yeah, there's something to look into. RPA, new exciting technology on the block. Okay, next trend. So far we have hybrid models, data literacy, cloud computing, rise of Internet of Things, rise of explainable AI, and RPA, right? So what does that make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do two more trends. The next trend is something that, with all this rise of technology and all this rise of different artificial intelligence algorithms and RPA and just all these things we talked about, Internet of Things, explainable AI, and things like that, there is more and more room for people who are connecting insights to people who are making decisions. And that is the data scientists that participate in data storytelling. So the data scientists that can actually explain insights and findings in simple, understandable manner. So what we're seeing is, for one indication for how we can assess, really hard to assess a market like that. Data storytelling, is it growing? Is it not growing? But something that we're seeing is that the visualization market is growing. That's kind of like in order to explain insights, most of the time you need to visualize those insights. And what we're seeing, like before, our programming was a golden standard for years, but now, like with its libraries and ggplot2, but now we've got tools like Tableau has been around for ages as well. It's also grown substantially. If you look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant, you will see how like Tableau is in the lead, but now tools like Power BI from Microsoft, ClickView, and others are catching up with Tableau, and like they're all very heavily investing in these tools. Also, what you can see is Python has got its Plotly and Seaborn libraries. They're catching up very rapidly as well. Both R and Python have posed competition to these tools that are for visualization, like Tableau, with their own libraries, which allow to build interactive dashboards such as Shiny in the case of R, and Dash in the case of Python, to build BI solutions. So as we can see from this space, more and more energy and resources is being invested into the visualization and into the data storytelling market. When we were at Data Science Go, like a good number of our speakers, at least several speakers, were talking about, even if not directly, but indirectly, their talk was related to data storytelling, how important that is. So we see that as a trend. We see that as something that's going to continue being super important, especially with this technology. This technology is not actually going to push out data storytelling. It's going to make data storytelling even more important. What are your comments on that, Adlan? What do you think, as an artificial intelligence expert, what would you say about data storytelling?
I would say that it is really, really, really important. I would say that managing to leverage your story to for whatever you want to do with data science is really, really efficient and helpful. For example, when I started, what my the first step of my story helped me reach the next step of the story, and then the next step of the story helped me reach the next step of the story. So each time I can see how we talked about connecting the dots. I can see how being really aware of my experience in data science helped me to reach that next step in my story. So I think that it was one of the top topics in Data Science Go, and it also comes with what Ben Taylor talked about building an AI legacy, which for which having good storytelling can be very powerful also.
Yeah, awesome. That's very cool, and that's cool to hear from, you're a very technical person, you're in the space of artificial intelligence. Really cool to hear from you, not people might be a bit concerned that like in the heavy AI you don't really need that. In reality, you actually do. It's a very, very powerful skill to have. Okay, so that's been 7 trends, and now we're going to move on to our 8th trend. And our 8th trend that we've identified is natural language processing, or NLP for short. So the NLP market size is estimated to grow from $7.63 billion which was in 2016 to 16.07 billion by 2021. Which represents a compounded annual growth rate of 16.1%. The major forces driving the NLP market are increase in demand for enhanced customer experience, increase in usage of smart devices, number of emerging options in application areas, increased investment in healthcare industry, increased deployment of web and cloud-based business applications, and growth in machine-to-machine technology. This is from Markets and Markets.com. What are your thoughts on natural language processing, Hadelin? Do you think it's going to be a major trend or why do you think it's going to be a major trend in 2019?
Yes, definitely. It's going to be a major trend, and the reason is because it is directly linked to the big uptrend of artificial intelligence. Because AI is making so much progress, and actually now we consider that one of the branch of artificial intelligence is deep NLP. When you combine natural language processing to deep learning. And so right now, companies like big tech companies are trying to build more and more sophisticated assistants, virtual assistants, or artificial intelligence that contribute in your daily life, either in your business or at your home. Well, of course, a center element of this assistant is NLP. It is the system that will make the robot talk with you on either a general task or specific task. And actually, there is a lot of research being developed right now. A lot of AI scientists are are dedicating a lot of energy onto this, with researching about the new state-of-the-art models in deep learning for NLP. And these are the ones related to the sec-to-sec models, sequence-to-sequence models, the lossless triplet loss, which is the latest, I think, state-of-the-art model in NLP, deep NLP. And so, yes, the research is here. It is happening, and of course, this is to leverage all the opportunities regarding the chatbots, but also the opportunities in the diverse industries where NLP can be used, as you mentioned, and also the AI assistants that we have. For example, Alexa, Amazon Alexa has made a lot of progress thanks to NLP, and we can also talk about OK Google. So yes, this is happening, and this is definitely one of the big trends in 2019.
Yeah, it's really cool. I recently got my first Amazon Alexa, so yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
To try it out. Still not there. I thought it would be much smarter. Still not there where I expected it to be, but that just means there's a lot of room for improvement in the coming years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So Yeah, that was natural language processing. And that was our 8th trend. So let's quickly recap on them. First one was hybrid AI models and the full world model, and how that is going to really impact. That was our biggest prediction for 2019, something we're most excited about, and a course that we are releasing in a couple of hours that you can join us on to learn about hybrid AI models. Number 2 was data literacy, on how organizations are more and more educating all their staff, all their personnel, and creating what is called the citizen data scientists to help them become more data driven. Number 3 was data moving to the cloud faster than ever, and the cloud market growing to $206 billion in 2019, which is 17.3% growth, and why companies are going into that direction. Number 4 was Internet of Things, and how this is a massive market. As now it probably is very great to see it in comparison. It like dwarfs everything else. Even the cloud market is only going to be $206 billion, which is already a massive one. But the Internet of Things market is predicted to grow to $1.2 trillion by 2022. Something to keep in mind and something to get on top of ASAP. Number 5 was the rise of explainable AI, and the whole concept of companies, organizations, and even governments not really trusting artificial intelligence and what is going to happen there, and is something actually going to happen. We think something will happen in 2019. Keep your eyes open for explainable AI. Number 6, robotics process automation, a very interesting tool, something that I have recommended to many data scientists, a market that will grow to $3.11 billion by 2025, reshaping how we do white-collar work and replacing repetitive tasks, helping people free their time and focus on more meaningful things. A very interesting trend as well. Next one was number 7. Data storytelling is the new language of corporations. We are witnessing a rise in different visualization software, from Tableau to Click to Power BI to Python's Plotly and Seaborn to Shiny dashboard in R, dashboards in Python. All of this is signaling to us that data storytelling is now more important than ever, especially with the rise of super powerful artificial intelligence tools and machine learning software. We need to be able to explain those insights. And those are the most successful data scientists, by the way, those who can tell stories to the executives and the business decision makers. This trend will continue in our view, and it's something to incorporate in your career regardless of your level. And trend number 8, natural language processing. So then NLP market is estimated to grow to $16.07 billion by 2021. As you can see, all of the major players, from Google to Microsoft to Apple, they're all jumping onto providing better customer service to their clients with natural language processing, something also to get good at, because that can be somewhere where your career will take you. There we go. 8 trends, man. Exciting times.
Exciting times, and an exciting webinar as well. It was so good to talk about all this. I was actually saying on the chat that we're always happy to discuss our passion, but it's even more exciting when we are discussing it live with the rest of the world. So that was a truly great experience, and such a good way to end the year.
For sure. And and also, man, very excited for your course launch, for our course launch, but like, man, as for the amount of work that you've been putting into it, I highly recommend for everybody on the webinar to look out to your emails in the next 3 hours and 10 minutes, to make sure you don't miss the opportunity to get the new hybrid AI model course with the super valuable bonuses.
That's right. I've never been that excited to work on an artificial intelligence like that. And indeed, the bonuses are super valuable. So huge.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah,
All right, see
thanks,
you,
guys.
mate. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.